Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for some folks. What's up, everybody? Got you with a little bit of troll right there on the countdown. I had to, couldn't resist. But yeah, we definitely should have a great show today for sure. I am excited about having Rob join us here shortly. Um, yeah, should be cool. Should be real cool. He should be here any minute. But I did want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We're definitely going to be asking Rob a lot of questions. I want to thank everybody for sending me questions. Pretty much took everything that I thought was pretty much, oh yeah. Here we go. Cheers on the water. Will make doing the show a lot easier. But yeah, so definitely got a lot of questions that I'm going to run through with Rob once he gets here. And I did want to thank everybody for hopping in and participating. And we're going to run a pretty nasty giveaway today. It's going to run for the whole show. And the reason being is because everybody wanted Edson Barboza last week, right, in the votes. But, I mean, I didn't mind Max Holloway at all. So today's givey for everybody joining, myself and Rob, who has just entered the arena, is going to be entered to win this Edson Barboza autograph card right here, y'all. It's a silver disco Edson Barboza. You guys see that all right? And we are going to run that for the whole show. Go ahead and type KO in the chat. And we got our man of the hour here. Here he is, boys and girls. Rob, the legend himself. Welcome, Rob. How are you, sir?
Good. How's it going?
Doing great. Nice to have you on. Appreciate you spending, a Saturday morning with us because you are definitely in the West Coast. So appreciate your time. I'm sure the community is going to be very appreciative as well as we get through some of these questions. And, I'm sure I want to preface everything to everybody by letting you guys know I'm sure Rob's going to be able to give us as much information as he can on a lot of stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff he probably won't be able to go too much in detail because we do have some pretty good questions prying for some information, absolutely. But we'll get through them as best we can. KO in the chat, and me and Rob are going to go ahead and get started. So, Rob, my man, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Doing good.
How's the first few months of Strike been as captain, as the sheriff?
I had very few gray hair before I started. No, it hasn't been that bad. It's been great. There's lots of things I like about it. It's a lot of hard work. I've learned a ton. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. And you seem like you've become like more of a UFC fan too through the process, right?
Huge amount. Yeah, like I think I've said prior to like 6 months ago, like I understood it, but I wouldn't consider myself a big fan. And then going to my first event really kind of changed everything. And then since 281, been pretty hardcore. Watched like every fight since then, every fight night,
That's awesome.
Early prelims, everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, buddy. Glad to hear it. So we got some questions. We'll get right to it because I don't want to keep you too long on this Saturday morning. First one we'll start with the platform questions for Rob. So it seems like the team's working on quite a few things in the background in regards to QOL, which is quality of life updates for those not familiar with the abbreviation. Is there anything you can give us any like information on, or maybe like what the team's maybe like really working on first to try and get done, and then kind of how things are going on that front?
Yeah, so I mean, we're in the early ideation stage of a few things. Some of those, you might have heard of. Obviously, there was a leak around showroom um, being something that we're starting to explore and we're starting to ideate on. Um, but we're working on quite a few things. I talked about it. Was it Thursday? I don't know. One of the days this week, they all blend together. That there's a lot of the back end stuff that we're starting to take over. So there's a lot of work that doesn't get seen, which is kind of it's kind of unfortunate, but it's stuff that has to be done. So there's a lot of work that's going into that. But once that stuff's done, then the payoff is actually pretty good. So I think I mentioned the website and marketplace. Those things are pretty far along in terms of transitioning over. Something like the marketplace, though, is still going to take some time. It's going to take a while. But hopefully the website is something that we have a lot more control over and can start to do updates on like in the coming weeks.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Awesome. Next question. How has your stance on set collection and rewards changed? And which sets are closed or open, if any? Because we kind of don't even know that information. If you can touch on it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that my stance hasn't changed. That we don't have an official stance yet. It's something that we're working through. It's part of the discussions around Series 2 is how do we want to treat sets? Because as I'm sure you know, Series 0, Series 1 was kind of designed and put together by a previous team, and there were sets in the metadata, but there wasn't really a plan for sets in terms of rewarding sets and how sets were going to work. So that's why you have these questions still, over a year later.
Sure.
So I want to be able to give good answers, and those are big questions. So I want to make sure that we're thinking this through. As you probably know, we had an economist start here in the last few weeks, and so it's not something that like he's going to know in his first couple of weeks. It's something that we're gonna work really hard to look at the long-term multi-year vision and figure out what we want to do. So I will say we are going to try some different stuff. We're going to I've been saying this for a long time, and I think you've probably seen it on a few different things, but we're going to try some things. That doesn't mean that's our solution. That's not the way it's always going to be, but keep an eye out for some things that we're doing, and give us feedback, even if it's like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Like, that's valuable feedback. I'd like to know why you think it's the stupidest shit you've ever seen. But it's appreciated either way.
Yeah, and that's one thing I could definitely appreciate since you guys have taken over. We for sure definitely see a lot more communication coming our way. Definitely see, as Waleed always likes to say, the transparency.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely love having. It's like a nice breath of fresh air, honestly, for all of us who've been here since the beginning. When like everything was pretty much falling on deaf ears, and now it seems like we actually have some people who are actually listening to us, and we'll see. I mean, it's definitely like you said, it's still early, so we'll see how things go down the line for sure, and we'll continue to try and provide as much feedback as we can.
It's great. No, I know the transparency thing is joked about right now, but I guess like there's way worse things to be joked about than always talking about transparency.
For sure. Any set date on the start of Series 2? I know you said like next quarter, but the people they're dying.
I know, right? They're not the only ones. Not a set date. There's no like date set in stone. But we're wrapping up Series 1. I mean, I think that's probably pretty obvious. There's a finite amount of champions that we can do. I mean, there are set limitations that we have to follow. So I would say early summer.
Okay.
There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the UFC world in the next few months, and we want to have exciting stuff in the product too.
Awesome. Sounds great. Has there been any thought to adding additional tiers and bonus categories to challenges to enhance difficulty? We saw a lot of that this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, we see a fair amount of it every week. Definitely a lot of it this week.
Yeah.
Have there been any thoughts? Yeah, for sure. So I think the thoughts right now are we want to be careful about adding too much to the ecosystem, especially on a weekly basis, because anything that we do, obviously we don't have to do it every week, but we have to, we try to extrapolate that out to months and years. And I think you might see more aggressive stuff with us after we kind of have plans set for Series 2. When we really know what the next year is going to look like in terms of the ecosystem. I think right now we'll try some different stuff. We've been doing a fair amount of additional challenges during the week. Usually those are like more the focus burns because those are we feel like they have a different place in the ecosystem.
Sure.
So we're exploring stuff. I think there's kind of going back to maybe some of those other things we might be working on that are very, very, very early stages. But one of the things that we want to look at is there another way to do challenges and not just give moments as a reward? Because if we mint something, we're all really used to that. But if we give packs, that's still like putting moments in the ecosystem. We still have to mint those somewhere, they still have to be accounted for. So that's something that might address the economy concerns. Obviously, there's other concerns. There's costs that would be associated with it. So those are things we're exploring too.
Okay. Glad to hear it's on the radar for sure. So,
yep.
A lot of questions about marketing, man. Tons and tons of questions. Excuse me. But I'm under the assumption that pretty much the plan is to kind of get everything like 100%, like the website, the collection pages, kind of have everything firing on all cylinders for a nice, great user experience. And then the marketing train starts rolling. Is that kind of what you guys are planning out? That's from my vantage point, that's kind of what I think is going to maybe play out, but let us know.
I would say it's not that black and white. Like it's, the marketing train has left the station, but it's just starting to build momentum. You see it on the sponsorship stuff that we have around the 30th anniversary. So that's something you're going to see all year. Nice. It's raising brand awareness, and it doesn't answer the fundamental questions of like what is Strike, but that's not the goal of it. It's people need to see something numerous times for it to stick into their head as something that is of value or even exists. So that's a big thing right now that is just getting started. The kind of along the lines of the stuff I was talking about this week in terms of the transition plan, marketing is still unfortunately part of that, something that's still in transition. These aren't like secrets, because if you just go to our website, you can see we're hiring 3 marketing positions right now. So that is still an area that we don't have a lot of internal resources, because we're still hiring them. We're still relying on the Dapper team. So those things are still getting ramped up. We do have I've talked about before, we have a good deal in place with UFC for the next few years in terms of marketing. And so it's about starting to find the right ways to leverage those things as part of our sponsorship deal with UFC. Because not only do we have the UFC license, obviously with Strike, but we also have a sponsorship deal where that's why you're seeing Strike around things. And there's a lot more to our deal than what you've seen so far. But kind of like what you said is we need to get more things in place before we really start pushing that. We don't have very frequent pack sales right now. And we have, an older starter pack. And if we, push a bunch of people to the website, there's not a lot that they can do. In marketing, when you're spending money to acquire users, you look at ROI. You look at what's your return on investment for your dollar spent. Are you making ideally at least that same dollar back, if not more? And if there's not a good way for us to monetize them, to get the recoup on investment, that's going to be really hard to justify spending that money. So there's quality of life things that just getting them through the funnel is like they don't bounce when they hit the website, or they don't bounce when they try and create a wallet, all of those things. So, but it's a process, and we're already kind of starting
especially with what you said about like the website stuff coming in the next hopefully couple weeks and so yeah,
Yep.
definitely. And we we definitely see some stuff on our end too, so
Yep.
we definitely appreciate it. We just talked about measurements as a team used to track growth and success. We just talked about ROI, of course, a very big important one. Anything else metric wise?
That's the big stuff. Yeah, I mean, overall, the metrics for the project are, it's not rocket science. It's like growth, engagement, and revenue. It's like, can we get people in the door? Can we keep them around? And then can we monetize them? I would say the priorities of those change over time. Like right now, as you could probably guess, we're pretty engagement focused. Like that's what, trying to do things with challenges, doing giveaways, doing all these things, because we have an existing user base, and we're trying to make sure that they stick around. We're trying to, re-engagement is really important. We have, something like 70,000 wallets that hold a strike moment, but just a small fraction of those engage on even a monthly basis. So there's some stuff we're doing around that too, that I think is pretty cool. Just like low lift ways to like try and bring people back. And then we just talked about marketing. Marketing is generally focused on growth. Sometimes it's focused on re-engagement, but generally it's focused on growth. And like revenue is always important. Like, we got to make sure that we can pay the team
keep
salaries.
The doors open.
Yeah, got to keep the dream alive.
Right.
But like right now, I would say we're pretty engagement focused, and then we're going to be transitioning soon to more growth focused. And revenue is always up there, but yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Right. And to piggyback on the marketing stuff, we definitely noticed the marketing, during I don't know if anybody else has seen them, but like during the press conferences and the weigh-ins and stuff, you could see UFC Strike under like the 30th anniversary of the UFC logo. But have you guys given any thought to trying to do like monthly or quarterly AMAs with the UFC fighter, being for maybe people that, can't necessarily get to an event and engage that way?
Yeah. So, athlete marketing is definitely a part of the strategy. It was used, a fair amount last year, whether it was with trying to get some athletes into the Discord or getting athletes to wear a moment around their neck. Those things were really cool. The video of Izzy at the press conference talking about his moment is that's just gold. It's great.
Yeah,
it's always going to be good. So those things are valuable. What the ROI on those spends are, I think that's deeper down the funnel. I think there's just so much low hanging fruit that we have from a marketing perspective of just like education. So I think the focus will be on some of these other things first, but I definitely think athlete engagement and athlete ambassadors will be part of it. I actually know for a fact that it will be. So I think we're doing this with the product, but it's part of marketing. It's part of product development in general. It's like, we're going to test some things. We're going to do some different stuff. We're going to see what the results are. And then we're going to put more money and resources behind what works.
For sure. Sounds good. Well, that's all I had on the platform. Now we're going to get a little bit into the game here, where we're all kind of wondering about.
Yep.
So how's it coming along, and do you anticipate us getting a beta, and how limited will it be? That's one of my questions I'm really, really interested in.
Yeah. So good question. The high level of the game is making games is really hard. It's a slow process. So I wish we were farther along right now. We're still making progress. I think I mentioned a couple of times that I would like to do a demo sooner than later. There is some updates I'd like to show and get feedback on. I would say one of the things that's kind of slowed it down, which I guess is a good thing, is that in terms of the transition of some of these things, we were anticipating them taking a lot longer. We have prioritized them for various reasons. And have devoted more resources to those in the last 2 months than we kind of originally anticipated. So it's one of those things we're just trying to get everything under one roof and being able to do, like when the blog post went out Thursday, it wasn't super clear if it was unique or not, and
Mm-hmm.
it took like hours to get that fixed because
Yeah.
we couldn't do it. So like these are the things that like, okay, we just need to get this done. Like I understand. So there's resources that originally were more allocated towards the game that are working on other things right now, including some of the experimentation and things that we're doing. So it's still moving along. It's really hard for me to give a guess. I would hope that we would have something, this summer for sure to be able to start getting feedback on. It's not like going to be a black and white like launch, not launch. It's going to be a very iterative process. So with these kind of like free to play games with easily accessible iterative games with live op games, it really is a lot of put something out there, get feedback, iterate, put that new thing out there, get feedback, iterate, and then somewhere along the line, those iteration cycles decrease because the changes that you're making are smaller because you're pretty much whittled down what it's going to be. And then you just kind of like do those things more live as opposed to putting it out there, taking it back, revamping it. And then the game is kind of like launched. It's not like a stealth launch, but it's kind of like a build towards it. So there are early cycles, the ways that we can do that in terms of having smaller, closed feedback loops. Those are things that, I think we'll start in the not too distant future to make sure that we're on the right track and start getting feedback. The bigger stuff, will still take a little bit of time.
Okay, cool. Is the game something we're going to have to engage with daily? Kind of like, I was thinking like Dimension X, how they got so many boards and stuff hitting all day, every day. Is that something that's going to translate with Strike, or is it more going to be like a weekly, maybe set it type thing based on the fights? Because that's kind of like what it seems like it might be kind of geared towards, right?
Yeah. I would say have to know, like, definitely don't want this to be a chore. Want to, I would hope so. I think, the goal is to have something in the Strike ecosystem for people to do every day. I mean, that's just a goal for us. We want this to be like eventually become the de facto fan platform, that if you like UFC, it's just like, hey, I want to be a member of Strike because there's just a lot of stuff to do. There's people to talk about. There's, what we're building on right now is like, there's people to go watch the fight with. That's a lot of fun. And the game is one piece of that. So if someone's really into it, there's absolutely going to be things that you can do every day. If you're just playing casually and you want to play once a week, there's a way for you to do that too. So I hope no one feels forced to play it every day. But we do want to be engaging and interesting, and we want to set up tournaments and have rewards and do those things in very short time frames, like, just where you have to do it for a day, and then bigger ones that that are more competitive, that spread out maybe over a week, so we can give bigger rewards for that stuff too.
All right. Sounds good. Will the fighter NFTs have their own series and sets, if any, or will they belong to like once Series 2 starts, we'll have Series 2 fighter NFTs, we'll have Series 2 moments, and the series builds out that way?
I would say still TBD, nothing set yet. We've talked about like just the naming. Like, it feels really weird to start fighter NFTs with Series 2. Like, where the people for years will be like, where are the Series 1 fighters? And like, oh, it's a long story.
Gotcha.
So yeah, those are things that we'll figure out. You asked about sets in there too. Same answer is with moments. Like, we got to figure out exactly what our plan is there before we determine what we're going to do. But like right now, the plan for the initial kind of release of fighter NFTs is it's a base set. Again, don't read too much into the word set, but it's just a way for naming and grouping.
Sure.
That's the plan.
All right. Cool. Will users be able to play the game with only fighter NFTs in their wallet, or will they be required to have UFC Strike moments in order to play?
I think ideally, like you would need nothing in your wallet to start to play to check it out.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
All right. All right.
I mean, that's how you get new users, right? That's how
Mm-hmm.
we want the game to be an onboarding funnel. Like we want it to be something that people are like, oh, cool, what's this? I'll check it out. I don't know a lot about UFC. I don't know what NFTs are. Like that is an ideal scenario as we work towards, is that they can start checking out and playing it, and then they can then after that, creating a wallet, buying a moment, buying a fighter NFT. Those are all big friction points. Like we want to push those as far down the funnel as possible to where they're more likely to overcome those friction points if they're like, oh, this is something cool, or just like this looks interesting. If you're trying to hit all those friction points at the beginning, which Strike does right now, then you're gonna lose a lot more people. So
Sure.
I mean, to be competitive, to play it every day, like you're gonna have to create a wallet. You're gonna have to like get fighters, and to be competitive, you're gonna need moments. So,
Okay.
but again, it's just kind of pushing those things down the funnel a little bit.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And then you just touched on this question. You mentioned that challenges will be happening for the game. Safe to assume that we can have, like, once everything's kind of rolling, game challenges and collection challenges and all kinds of different challenges running at the same time during the week.
I think it's too early to say for sure, but like challenges to me are gamified collecting, and the fighters will be the goal is for them to be using the game, but they're digital collectibles first and foremost. So it would be silly to not do something with them in challenges for the fighter NFTs. But we're not saying we're going to blend them together or we're going to do one or the other. Like they might be separate. There's might be a lot of different things. But yeah, it's a different form of engagement, and it's a different form of retention for challenges. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And when can we expect that next demo?
That's a great question. I'm hoping soon, but still hoops to jump through. This week was spent putting out fires and not jumping through into those hoops. I'm hoping
that was a little rough, huh?
Yeah, it was the
and then the blog and
the rollout of the Dapper's collecting policy, the changes to the VIP program. Like there was a lot of other stuff too that wasn't even Strike related. Yeah. And like, so yeah. But it's on our radar. Had a really good in-person meeting with the UFC team this last week and talked about this stuff. They are very, I don't say they ask a lot of questions because they actually know a lot of these answers because we talk about it. We have two standing meetings and usually another one-off meeting somewhere with them every single week. So we talk a lot. But they're interested in moving all the stuff forward and doing all the stuff too. You might have seen actually one Ron from their team was in Discord for the fight last week.
RKO. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He definitely should change his name. He needs to put a name in his name for sure.
Yeah. So I think he might be around today too. And then there was another member of their team that I added to their that role today that might be around. So so there's a lot going on. It's just a matter of, I always say it's a matter of prioritization and resources. It's good. There's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of hard work. But
we see you online all day, bro. We know you're working hard, my man. We know you work that green dot, man. It's all day.
It is.
God bless you, brother. God bless you. And Rob sent me a little something here, y'all. Came to my house.
Nice. I'm glad it came.
I told him I'd open it up on stream here. So before I let you go, Rob, I really appreciate you coming on, spending that time with us.
Yep.
Giving us a little bit of info. I know sometimes it's not easy to do. But man, we definitely appreciate you hanging out, being around.
Yeah.
Like having you on the team. Looking forward to what's to come, brother.
Me too.
Right this bad boy. All right, let's see what we got, y'all. Oh, snap. We got a nasty. Let me get this thing. It's folded really well here.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Nice, brother. Oh, man. UFC Strike hoodie, y'all. Catch me wearing this on the next plane ride to the next flight. Anybody got tickets to 288? Let me know. I'm trying to go see Bilal. Oh, we got something else in here, y'all. Oh, man. I got a lot of knickknacks, too. Pop sockets. I'm going to send that with the Edson card, too. Don't forget, y'all. A lot of stickers. Oh, snap. A hat. I am a hat guy, Rob.
I noticed. That's why I made sure that was in there.
I am a hat guy, Rob. So that's big time. That's big time. And another hoodie smash. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
I'll be repping it into Shy for sure. Maybe we'll get a UFC fight in Chicago at some point.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, man.
I hope so.
They haven't been back here. Thank you again. They haven't been back here for a while. So pre-COVID. So man, thanks. That was not expecting all that, buddy. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Got some pop sockets, got some stickers. Yes, sir. But on that note, Rob, I know you got 5 kids, bro. I know it's Saturday morning. You probably got a ton of shit to do.
I'm surprised they've been quiet for 36 minutes. Like, I am impressed.
It's solid, bro. Solid. You got a good family there for sure. They understand. They're Strike fans.
They do. They are. Absolutely.
Awesome.
They get it.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you hanging out with us. Thanks for hopping on. And any last words for people? Yeah, we'll definitely do it again.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's passion for the project. I appreciate all the feedback. I think that's really important what we do. The thing I always ask is just, criticism is fine. Let's keep it constructive criticism so we can learn and grow and just do better things. So I appreciate everyone's engagement with things, with our content creators. I'm a big fan of that and definitely want to support that. With talking at fights, like all those extra things that aren't just about, collecting NFTs. So appreciate everything everybody does.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you too, brother.
Cool, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Rob. We'll see you in Discord, buddy.
See ya.
All right. Rob is gone. That's a pretty dope hat. Nothing on the back, but gotta rock it like this. More of a backward hat kind of guy. Better for the camera. All right. So that was Rob, dude. Gave us some good info. Thank you, everybody who was giving those questions out. Don't forget, everybody type KO in the chat. KO in the chat. Do it again if you haven't. KO in the chat. And then we are going to get into this week's challenge real quick before we kind of cut it loose. And we'll talk about the fight card too, y'all. All right. KO in the chat. KO in the chat. Don't forget. I think it might have reset. So if you didn't say it already, do it again. Just because we were on for a while and I didn't run the giveaway. So hit KO in the chat. Type KO in the chat. It's looking like we got about 18 people, but I got over 30 people in there. So KO in the chat. All right, here we go. So this week's challenge, pretty interesting one. A lot of us, weren't too excited about it, right? First thing we noticed was Mr. Yair Rosenstrike moment for the reward, and everybody was thinking it would have to do, with Sergey fighting for sure. But yeah, so we had to burn 5 Series 0 heavyweights. Could have been a mixture of all 5 of these guys. Could have been 5 Barnetts. Could have been 3 Tuis and 2 Cyril Gans. But yeah, you had to burn 5 Series 0 heavyweights and own any 2 unique fighters out of these heavyweight challengers and fandoms. So you had Tai Tuivasa, Tom Aspinall, Volkov, and Curtis Blades. So you could complete this multiple times. The Champ Club pass was for Ngannou, which covered you on this piece of the portion. You still had to do the burn aspect if you have an Ngannou. But overall, I don't think anybody was too excited about this challenge. Yeah, there are definitely multi-completions on this one. Yeah, game looks like it's going to be sick. Hopefully we could get another demo pretty soon on that. Yeah, this challenge, not too exciting. Just because the reward, I think, if they gave us like a Sergey knockout of Tuivasa or something like that, probably would have got people a little bit more hyped about it. It is a fight night. Not really, wasn't really anticipating anything, but we definitely talked to Rob about hopefully, harder challenges coming down the line. But I don't foresee this Rosenstrike being a very, sought after moment personally. Next thing I want to talk about, we got 27 people in the KO giveaway, so don't forget, type KO in there. Don't worry, it doesn't give you dupes. Let's take a look at this card here. Looks pretty decent. I'll go through the main card. Not going to go through the prelims. We got Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew Semmelsberger. I think I like Wells in this one, guys. I think he's the dog, but he's got some sick power, dude. Semi the Jedi, he's a good, rangy fighter, in and out, but I think Wells got too much for him today. And he finishes this fight early, my opinion. Next one, we got, I don't know how to say it. It's probably Yasmin Lucindo versus Brogdon Walker. Going with Lucindo. I don't know if anybody watched Tough, but this girl was on The Ultimate Fighter, and she's not that good. Not that good. So I'm going with Lucindo. Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon. Oh, man. Man, Bobby Green's got that many fights, dude. Holy shit. Bobby Green's up there on the fights, guys. My man's got mad fights under his record. Holy shit. You're going with Green. Let's see what we got here. Not that good. Yeah, record's definitely not that good. Green. Yeah, he's definitely war-torn for sure. Green by KO, huh? I don't know, bro. I'm going with I gotta go with Jared, bro. Jared's our boy. Trains with Bilal. Gotta go with Jared Flash Gordon. Jared Flash Gordon. Bruno Silva, Brad Tavares. So this is an interesting one. If Bruno can finish it early, that's pretty much the main question here, y'all. If Bruno can finish it early, he'll win. But I think Tavares probably is too much for him today. I think it might be a decision, to be honest with you, because these guys are pretty tough. Yeah, I'm liking Tavares too. Tavares. Yeah, it's a toss-up for sure. And last but certainly not least, y'all, that main event. Don't forget, KO in the chat. Type in KO in the chat so you can enter to win this bad boy real quick. Boom. Edson Barboza. Everybody wanted Barboza last week, so that's coming in the mail to whoever wins this bad boy. Yep, 15 minutes till poker. We're about to get off shortly. But back here, KO in the chat. Last fight of the night. We got Curtis Blades versus Sergey Pavlovich. Holy smokes. What do you guys think? Y'all think Blades gets knocked out like Derek Lewis knocked him out? Or is he going to do what he's got to do? Avoid any major strikes from Sergey and wrestle his ass to death? What are y'all thinking? Pavlovich. Pav round one, huh? Pav. Everybody's liking Pav early, huh? Yeah, he's a pressure fighter too, so I know he might just rush and like start swinging, you know. But yeah, if he connects, let's see what we got. Blaze is going to get to the ground and pound treatment KO. Maybe. That's what the odds makers say, but we've seen some crazier shit, you know? That's for damn sure. I'm liking Pavlovich, honestly. He looks like he's just on a mission right now based on his last few fights. Pav's going to get wrestle fucked into oblivion. Yeah, maybe. All right. Last chance. KO in the chat. Let me put this up on the big screen. Bam. Edson Barboza. KO in the chat. Got to DM me on Discord if you win. I'll get it shipped out next week. I'm giving it a couple more minutes here. Not even a couple more seconds, actually. Couple more seconds for Barboza. KO in the chat. As soon as the next minute dings at 47, I am going to roll it, y'all. I'm going to roll it. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck. Appreciate everybody hanging out today. The replay will be on here for anybody that needs to watch to go back and see what Rob said. Here goes the givey. Good luck. Chef Curry takes down the Edson Barboza. Man, that's a banger right there, boy. Bang, bang, bang. And he loves collecting like UFC merch and stuff, so I know he's going to love this one. Congrats, brother. DM me your Addy, and I will ship this out to you next week, my man. Congrats. You are the only one that got an Edson this week. Everybody voted for him, didn't get one. So you got one, brother. Congrats. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Givey is over. Any last questions or comments before we head on out of here, y'all? Because it's been a great show. We got a lot done. Talked to Rob. Should be some good stuff next week, too. So, going once. Going twice. Congrats again, Chef Curry. And, yeah, y'all. Catch you next time.